If you are not saving on designer, you are doing something wrong, because I kid you not, a lot of my designer I have gotten on a sale, a huge sale. Hello my beautiful kings and queens, it's your girl Queen C here, and I'm back with another episode. If you're new here, hi, hello, my name is Ciara Spooner, aka Queen C, and as you can see by the title, this is Spoonfed Fashion episode 7. But before we get into that, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Why? Because it's the Ciara Spooner. Should have subscribed sooner. And let's go ahead into this episode. Back then it was hard to get designer because not only were they limited, but they were really expensive, and not everybody could afford designer. Even to this day, not everyone could afford designer. However, pieces are being manufactured like crazy, so it is a better chance to get designer but on a lower budget. And honestly, if you aren't shopping designer at a lower budget, you're doing something terribly wrong, because I'm telling you, the deals are out there, and I'm gonna put you on to exactly where they are. First way, which I think is a little obvious in my opinion, is thrifting. Thrifting back in the day was like your $1 t-shirts, your $2 jeans, like your $5 sneakers. You weren't really finding designer back then thrifting. Maybe I just wasn't looking, but I mean, I was a kid, I wasn't really looking for designer. The most designer you might find thrifting is like Juicy Couture, like sweatsuits and stuff like that, and like Justice clothing, because that was like really popular when I was a kid, and like your Abercrombie, like your Hollister and stuff like that. But in today's world, you're finding really good gems, and I'm talking in the same stores like Salvation Army, Goodwill. Compared to back then, nobody was going to the thrift stores to find high-end designers. But in today's age, a lot of people are going to the thrift stores to find, you know, these hidden gems and these high-end designers, because people are donating, people are throwing away items, you know, people are also passing, people are also just selling houses, having estate sales. Like, people are getting rid of stuff faster than ever, so you have a higher chance finding these gems and these hidden designer pieces at your thrift store compared to back then. Thrifting has a whole new meaning in today's world. Back then, there weren't really a lot of stores dedicated to designer items. However, today you have stores like The Real, 2nd Street, you have websites like Grailed, Depop. These places all carry designer items, and some of these places, like I said, 2nd Street and The Real, are specifically designer items. Like, you're not gonna go in 2nd Street and try to find a Hollister shirt, and you're not gonna go in The Real try to find an Abercrombie shirt. You're just not. These places are literally dedicated to taking somebody's high-end pieces and selling it secondhand. 2nd Street is becoming more and more popular every single day. They have a lot of locations in New York. I don't know if they started there. They also have a lot of locations in LA, and they have on their websites like where they located. They're located in other states as well. So they are a growing business, and they are growing very fast. They also have online store where you can shop from as well. The Real is great for finding specific items as well that you might be looking for, especially like vintage items. A lot of people go there to find unique items and pieces that they're specifically looking for. With 2nd Street, you can't really think of specific items unless it's like, let's say like all white Jordans or something like that, but not really specific pieces. Like, I'm not gonna find like a 2008 Givenchy shoe there, but The Real, I have a better chance finding it on there. Another website that's similar is Vestiaire Collective, I believe that's how you pronounce it. This website is great for those vintage designer pieces. Like, this is a website where if you're looking for that 2008 Givenchy shoe or that 2008 like D-squared heel, they're going to have it. More than likely they're gonna have it. Maybe not in your size, but they might just have it. Like, this is truly for those thrifted vintage finds, especially for like the high-end brands like the Louis Vuittons, the Gucci's, like all the high-end luxury stores. They're great for like the vintage finds. Next, you have your regular online thrifting stores like Grailed and Depop. Grailed is good kind of for specific items, but I wouldn't really go on there for specifics. Mainly like modern in the day designer items and like hype beast items. So like Supreme, like North Face, like brands like that. Grailed is more catered to. And Depop, you can honestly find anything on Depop. It's literally in like an online Salvation Army, or online Goodwill, in my opinion. More than likely, you're not really finding high-end pieces on Depop. You really have to search for that. It's very rare that people will put like a $1,000 item on Depop. I mostly see items less than $700, less than $500. You're not gonna find like a super expensive luxury item on Depop. So it's a great online thrifting store if you need something real quick for the weekend. Let's say you need like a bag to match your outfit. You don't really have it, you don't want to spend that much money, spend less than $100, spend less than $50. You're gonna find a bag on there for you. That's kind of what Depop is. And also, if you live in a major city, especially ones like New York, if you live in New York has a whole bunch of thrifting stores that are dedicated to designer items. One of them I know is like it's like Around the World or something like that. I'm gonna put it on the screen because I'm forgetting it, but like something about Around the World, something in those terms, that is dedicated for designer items, vintage designer items as well. And also there's just shops, there's so many shops, so many people that collect designer items that are opening stores in the city. If you live in a major city like New York, you can just honestly look up designer thrifting stores. There's a whole bunch of them. I'm pretty sure in LA and Chicago. Listen, if I wanted to find a denim Louis Vuitton that came out in like the early 2000s, some store in New York is gonna have them. So definitely thrifting comes in clutch. Next we have sample sales. Sample sales is honestly my favorite way to shop for designers for the low, because if you catch a great sample sale, you're going to get like not a thrifted item, not like a used item. You're gonna get a good quality, like straight from the company item for the low. Now it may have a defect because sample sales originally, because they just overproduce so much these days, but sample sales is when designers sell their sample pieces, overproduced pieces, and pieces that might have like a little bit of a defect. So like a string might be missing, or like it may be stitched the wrong way or something like that. More than likely, because we live in a day and age where things are just overproduced, more than likely it's just things that were overproduced or things that just wasn't selling as good. You're not really getting sample pieces from the designer anymore. You're just not. One great company that I shop with for sample sales is 260 Sample Sales. 260 Sample Sales has in-store and online. Now I think the in-store ones are the best. They host them in New York, Houston, I think it's Houston or Dallas, or could be both, LA, Chicago. I'm not sure if they have other places, but I know they specifically have stores in those places. Now the in-store, great. I got me these EB denim. I made a video about it. I got me these EB denim jeans. Original price is like almost like $600. And I got them for $75 flat. No tax. 75. It said 75 on the paper, and I paid 75 at the checkout. Okay? There are times where people are paying people to stand in line for 260 sample sales. There's lines for hours at 260 Sample Sale. Like, don't sleep on that company. I have been praising them for like over a year now. If I haven't said anything about the fashion world, I definitely said something about 260 Sample Sale, because they are low-key, but they're not. They just had a sale recently for moon boots. They were selling moon boots as low as $17. I'm not even joking. I don't think I screenshotted it, but they were selling moon boots for $17. They were also selling like the pretty more usual ones, the hyped up ones or whatever the case might be, $40. Now moon boots are what, like 300? $40. I could get like 5 pairs for that price. Unfortunately, I didn't get any because I wasn't thinking, to be honest with you. I wasn't thinking. I really wasn't thinking. I should have though. I should have and just saved it for next year, because that's what you gotta do. You gotta buy, right now we're in spring, you gotta buy winter pieces for the next season. That's what you gotta do. But they had a moon boots for $40. The lowest I seen was $17. I said, wow, this is crazy. But these are the prices that 260 Sample Sales has for a lot of their sales. If I'm putting y'all on, okay? Are y'all listening to me? They are not the only ones that do sample sales. Now, the brand itself might have a sample sale. It's very rare that they do. And if they do, you either have to be working in the company or working in fashion to know about these events that happen, because a lot of the brands actually do have sample sales, but they're secretive, okay? But the ones that aren't secretive, you can find them online. Sometimes if you just follow a brand that you really love, they might announce it. To get the information on these sample sales that happen, whether they're at 260 or it's the brand itself, or sometimes a lot of other companies now are on the rise with sample sales. They're trying to be like 260, but you can find all this information on a website called ChickMe. ChickMe is where you can find all the latest details from around the world, not just specifically New York. Whether you're in Dallas, whether you're in LA, you know, whether you're in Michigan, okay, whether you're in, I don't know, Kansas or something. But this website, you can find where the nearest sample sales are, when they're happening, date, time, place, everything. They also have online ones too. So great website to find all this information from if you're not following brands, if you're not following 260, all around information they have for you. They may not have every single sample sale that goes on, because it is a lot that be happening, you know. Some people just don't know, but for the majority, they got it, okay? They got it. Lastly, there are dedicated websites that sell designer up to 70% off every single day, 365 days a year. These websites include, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong, these websites are Yux, C-Tire, The Outnet. They're literally selling designer all the time for the low. And even like new season pieces, so pieces that may have came out for the previous season. So right now we're in spring, so pieces that came out fall, winter, it could be like 80% off and you wouldn't even know because you're just not shopping on those websites. And these are trusted and verified websites. Okay, I'm not gonna say you guys wrong. So the difference between these websites, in my opinion, when I go on them, I could be wrong, your opinion could be different from mine, but in my opinion, I would say the Outnet is good for the highest percentage off. I'm talking like 70, 60, 80% off of these things. However, they are more than likely past season items. We're talking about 2-3 seasons ago. We're talking about items that probably came out a year or two ago. Next, we have Yux, which is your mid-range percentage, so anywhere between like 40 to like 60% off. They're gonna have unique pieces that probably people would just like skip on the website, but are actually really cute. New season, probably like a year ago. You're not gonna find all of the new season pieces that came out like probably like a month, 3 months or so. You're not gonna find all of that on there. You're gonna find some pieces. And lastly, I would say C-Tire, because their percentage goes from like 17% to, it goes all the way up to 70%, I believe, but more than likely those are like really old items that people are just not buying. But yeah, lowest percentage wise, but they are gonna have pieces that came out like last month or whatever the case might be. Even that's great, you know, last month pieces on sale already, that's great in my book. In conclusion, if you aren't shopping designer for a lesser price than what it is, you're doing something wrong, okay? I mean, unless you're shopping like you have to be in high fashion couture every single day, newest pieces, new limited pieces every single day, I understand it, okay? I get it. But for the people that want to shop designer, but you know, don't necessarily care for the newest pieces, don't necessarily care for the limited edition, you know, really high-end extravaganza, and still want to shop good quality luxury pieces, when I put an emphasis on good quality, because nowadays companies are just throwing 100% polyester in your face and pricing it around $200, $300. I went into Aritzia the other day, no bash to Aritzia, but I'm gonna bash them for this. I found this, I thought it was a leather jacket. I found this jacket, it was so nice. I was like, oh, this is a nice springtime jacket. 100% polyester, and I think the price was more than $200. I said, yeah, you're out of your mind. You're out of your mind. So a lot of people want to shop, you know, good quality pieces, and a lot of these pieces are coming from luxury designers, are coming from a more high price, you know, but you can still get that on a budget. And sometimes that piece that you really love, like that high-end piece, you just gotta wait a little bit. Just wait a little bit and you're gonna find it at a sample sale, I'm telling you. Okay, or you're gonna find it at 2nd Street, or you're gonna find it on the outlet. You never know. That is all the ways I know how to shop designer on the low. If you guys know a better way or have a different way, let me know in the comments down below. If you shopped any of these ways, if you shopped 260 before, if you went to 2nd Street before, or if you shopped on, you know, C Tire on or the outlet, comment down below. Comment down anything and everything. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Why? Because it's the average Spooner. She should have subscribed sooner, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Mwah.